In today's video, we are going to talk about entertainment for your wedding. Do you want a DJ? Do you want a band? Do you want both? Do you want none? What are we going to do? By the end of this video, you are going to be able to know what things to look for and how to figure out what is best for you based on what you're trying to accomplish with your wedding. If you're just stumbling across this video, hi, my name's Natalie. I'm an international DJ, wedding expert, and the creator of the Wedding Lab. And I help couples just like you plan the wedding of their dreams on any budget by unlocking the secrets of the wedding industry. So if you're interested in more information like that will help you with your wedding, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. There's a new video every Wednesday night. And nice to meet you. Thanks for stopping by. So back to the task at hand. What are we doing for your wedding when it comes to entertainment? We have bands, we have DJs, we have both. You can do music fusion. You can have live musicians for your ceremony or your cocktail hour or however you want to do it. So let's talk first about price. Price for a DJ, and now just to give you some context, the entertainment portion of your budget is typically around 10% of your entire budget. If you don't know how to budget for a wedding and you don't have a tool or anything like that, I sell a tool. It's super cheap. It's $7 and it's basically a plug and play. It gives you all kinds of places to figure out how to plan your wedding and put your timeline together, but it also keeps track of all the money that you're spending and helps you budget. So if you want that, you can click the link below. But just keep in mind that about 10% of any wedding goes to entertainment. In that, you want to consider what your budget is, and you want to think about where you are when it comes to price. And we want to think about not just price, but what the differences are between all of those things and what your options actually are. But we're going to start with price because that's always the top of mind for a lot of people. And price for a DJ can range pretty vastly from, I'd say, consider for a DJ in a big market, $1,600 rather, to about $5,000. Now that doesn't mean that you're not going to be able to find some solo DJ that does a good job and is used to doing weddings and can do all this and doesn't have the backing of a company so they can they can charge a little bit less. Or if you're in a really small market, maybe you'll find somebody for less. But realistically, $1,600 to $5,000 is the range for a DJ for a wedding. Then if you're looking at a band, it usually starts around $5,000, but that again, very limited. You're not going to get all the bells and whistles. You're going to get a few people. You're not going to get a big wedding band. $5,000 to about $20,000 before you start getting into big names, celebrity, local bands that are big, celebrity names, stuff like that. So $1,600 to $5,000 for a DJ, $5,000 to $20,000 for a band. Besides price, what are we looking for? We want to look for what kind of music you like. If you're somebody who likes pop music, you like a lot of the classics, you have a big range of guests' age, you can go for a lot of those dancey pop hits and the old school and the classics. A band is a great idea. But if you're somebody who's more into EDM, or you're more into rap music, or you're more into, something of that nature, it's hard to recreate that as a band and have it work the way that it works. So in that case, you might be better off getting a DJ if you're more on the, well, I like the original tunes versus covers, and I like hip hop, EDM. I like pop music too, and I like the classics too. But if you're heavy into the EDM and rap music, then it's a little bit harder to recreate that from a band. When it comes to figuring out what your style is, that's going to inform that. Another thing that's going to inform that is, what's your guest count? What is your venue space like? If you have a more intimate guest list where it's like maybe 50 to 75 people, you're not going to want a 16-piece wedding band. They're going to overpower the people. But if you have 200 people, you can do a DJ or a band. If you have a ton of people, you can do a DJ or a band. The DJ might need some more equipment, but the band can sustain it too, the more the guest count gets. The higher the guest count gets, rather. You want to think about those things when you're considering, do I want a band? Do I want a DJ? You also want to consider the space. Make sure there's room for what you want. If there's not a lot of room, a DJ takes up less space. If it's a really big venue, maybe you want to fill the space with a band and kind of create that environment there as well. So you want to consider all those things. I'd also like to make sure that you remember that at any event, whether it's a wedding or a birthday party or anything, any event that you have is going to be judged by food and entertainment. You don't want to skimp on those things. Those are the things that people are going to talk about no matter what. So you want to give them something good to talk about. So you want to make sure that when you're thinking about your budget and prioritization and all of that stuff, you want to make sure that you prioritize food and entertainment, because the food's going to be talked about regardless, and the entertainment is going to be the deciding factor of if everybody leaves and your event is done after dinner, or they stay till the end and the dance floor is packed all night. So far we hit price. We want to make sure that it falls reasonably within your price range. We want to make sure that you know what kind of music you like, what kind of music will be conducive for your event, what your venue space looks like, and of course your guest list and your guest count. So once we have all that information, we're going to plug it into our budget. And if you don't know how to make a budget or you are struggling with that, then click the link below for that. If you are interested in having myself or one of my team members DJ your wedding, or if you want a wedding band in the Midwest area. So the wedding band is in the Midwest area. I have DJs from Chicago to Texas to Florida up to Boston. So any of those areas. And then I myself do destination weddings and kind of go all over the globe with it. So I do them anywhere. So that's just me. But I can help if you want to DJ in one of those other places as well. I have a link below for my calendar. You can set up a call with me. It's a free consultation and we can figure out what you actually need for your wedding and how I might be able to help you. The last variable about a DJ versus a band that I want to talk about is energy. A band brings energy into the room. It creates the energy from nothing. So you have the people and they create energy, which is why live music feels so good. And a DJ directs energy. They bring some energy too, but they direct the energy. So the DJ will look at the room and see what the vibe is in the room, where people are, if they're super lethargic after dinner or they're already ready to be on the dance floor and they're ready to go. A good DJ can gauge that and decide how to take where they are and then take them on a journey and go up and down and weave around and do all of that for the rest of the night. Whereas a band also does, it's flipped. They also do that, but they infuse energy into the room. And so those are two things to consider. When you're hiring a band, you want to ask a couple of things. How often do you take breaks? How long are the breaks? And what happens during the break? Do you have somebody that's playing music? Is there background music? Like what do we do for that? The band that I work with that is my favorite and I think the best in the Midwest, they don't take breaks at all. But sometimes people need breaks. The reason they don't take breaks is because they have enough lead singers to go through all the music. They don't need to. But some people, if you don't have 4 lead singers, they have to take breaks, and that makes sense. So you want to know what's happening between. Is it a DJ that's playing the music that maybe you wanted, but they can't do, it's not in their repertoire? Do they just play background music? How does that work? And then you also want to make sure that with a band, you can typically go see them beforehand, but a DJ, you can't. That's not very normal. I guess sometimes you can but it's more rare for that. It's more common to do that for a band. So the band, you can go show up, dress nice. Sometimes they'll allow you to come see somebody else's wedding or another event that they're doing. So when it comes to a DJ or a band, you want to consider that. If you, for whatever reason, can't or don't want to have a band, but you love live music and you can't quite figure out what you want to do, you can do what my favorite thing is, which is music fusion. So my favorite way to play is with 2 musicians. So I love the saxophone and the electric violin for this. So I'll show up to an event and the violinist and the saxophonist or the saxophonist will show up later for the dancing part and they'll play with me the whole dancing part. Then you get that infused energy into the room from the live musicians. You get the original tracks. You get the DJ driving the energy, but you also get the riffs from the saxophone and you get the vibes from the electric violin. And lots of people do this with those aren't the only instruments that can do that. Lots of people do it with other instruments too. Those are just my favorite. So that's called music fusion, where you can do that. It's become a really huge hit and that's my absolute favorite. It gives a more full feeling of live music, but you get the best of both worlds, I think, in that case. And bonus tips for people who are planning their wedding and they don't know how to put it all together. The rule of thumb is in any situation, the thing that people remember the most is the first moment and the last moment of the experience. So their first impression and their last moment. The ceremony is something that people often forget to plan. They wait till the end and they're like, oh, that's right, I have to plan a ceremony. And then they've already run out of money and all of that. Don't be that person. Plan the ceremony, make it a great first impression. A way to save money but still have that robust luxury feel is to have live musicians. Live musicians are way cheaper to have them play at the ceremony and maybe the cocktail hour than it is to have a full band for the reception. So if you're finding ways, if you love live music, that is another way to go. You can have live musicians play your ceremony and or your cocktail hour. and dinner often too. So it's much cheaper that way, and you get that really beautiful luxury feel and the vibe of having live music there. That is everything for today. If you have any questions, please leave them below. And if you want to talk about DJs and bands for your wedding, don't forget to check out my calendar link below and set up your free 30-minute consultation. Congratulations, I'll see you on the dance floor.
Get up.